When I first met the two alien sisters, I had no idea that moment would change the direction of my life forever. At the time, I was just an engineer on Outpost K-47, a remote mining station floating in the dark outskirts of the Orion sector. The station was old, quiet, and mostly forgotten by the Galactic Alliance. Most people who worked there were either hiding from something or had nowhere else to go. I was probably both. My job was simple: keep the station's aging power cores running and make sure the mining drones didn't malfunction. It was routine work, and most nights were painfully boring. But one night, everything changed. The station alarms suddenly blared through the corridors. "Emergency docking detected," the automated voice announced. That was strange. Ships rarely visited K-47 without prior notice. Curious, I grabbed my toolkit and headed toward docking bay 3. When the heavy doors opened, I saw a small silver spacecraft smoking from its engines. It looked sleek and elegant, nothing like the clunky cargo ships that usually pass through our sector. The hatch opened slowly. Two figures stepped out. At first glance, they looked human, but something about them was different. Their skin shimmered faintly with a pale violet glow, and their eyes reflected the light like polished crystals. Their long silver hair flowed down their backs like liquid metal. Alien royalty. Even someone as isolated as me recognized the symbols on their clothing. They belonged to House Elira, one of the most powerful royal bloodlines in the Andromedan Empire. And they looked terrified. The older sister stepped forward first. "Please," she said urgently. "We need help." Her voice carried a melodic tone unlike any human speech. "Someone is hunting us." The decision that changed everything. Helping them was a terrible idea. Anyone who interfered with royal politics in the Andromedan Empire usually ended up disappearing. But I saw the fear in their eyes. Behind them, their ship's engines sparked violently. They weren't lying. "Bring the ship inside," I said. Quickly. The docking bay doors sealed shut behind us. I spent the next hour repairing their damaged engine while they waited nervously nearby. Finally, the younger sister spoke. "You're not asking questions," she said. I shrugged. People running for their lives usually have good reasons. The older sister studied me carefully. "You are human," she said slowly. "Yet you helped us without hesitation." I tightened a bolt on the engine core. "Out here in deep space," I replied, "species doesn't matter. Survival does." The two sisters exchanged a quiet look. Then the older one introduced herself. "My name is Princess Liara Elira." She gestured to the younger girl beside her. "And this is my sister, Princess Saris." That was the moment I realized just how dangerous this situation really was. These weren't just nobles. They were royal heirs. If someone was hunting them, it meant something massive was happening inside the empire. The secret they revealed. After the repairs were finished, we sat in the empty control room, overlooking the stars. Liara finally told me the truth. "There is a coup happening inside the palace," she said. "Our uncle has betrayed the royal council. He wants the throne." Saris added quietly, "We barely escaped the palace before his forces arrived. They had fled across half the galaxy, trying to reach loyal allies. But their ship had been attacked in this sector, which meant the traitors were still hunting them." "Why tell me all this?" I asked. Liara smiled faintly. "Because you already helped us." Saris leaned forward. "And because we will never forget it." I waved it off. "It was just repairs." Liara shook her head. "No. It was trust." She stood and walked toward the docking bay. "Our ship can leave now. We must continue our journey." Saris paused beside me. "One day," she said softly, "we will return the favor." Then they were gone. Their ship disappeared into hyperspace. and I assumed I would never see them again. 3 years later, life went back to normal on Outpost K-47. Quiet shifts, broken machines, endless space. Sometimes I wondered if the two sisters had survived. But news from the Andromedan Empire rarely reached our sector, until one day, the alarms rang again. But this time it wasn't a small spacecraft arriving. It was a royal fleet. Massive silver warships surrounded the station like silent giants. Everyone on the outpost panicked. I was summoned to the docking bay immediately. When the doors opened, a royal shuttle descended slowly. Imperial guards stepped out first. Their armor gleamed with the symbol of House Alyra. Then two familiar figures appeared, Princess Liara and Princess Ceres. Except now, they weren't fugitives anymore. They were dressed in full royal attire. The station commander nearly fainted when they entered. Liara walked directly toward me. "It's good to see you again, engineer." Ceres grinned brightly. "You didn't think we forgot, did you?" I stared at them in disbelief. "You won?" Liara nodded. "The coup failed. Our uncle was defeated." Ceres crossed her arms proudly. "The Empire is safe." I exhaled slowly. "Well, that's good." Liara looked around the old station. "You still live here? Someone has to keep the power running." Ceres laughed. "Not anymore." The palace invitation. Liara held out a glowing crystal tablet. "You once saved the lives of 2 royal heirs. That debt cannot remain unpaid." The tablet displayed an official imperial seal. "By order of the Andromedan crown," she said, "you are formally invited to the royal palace." I blinked. "For what?" Ceres smiled mischievously. "You'll see. The journey to the Empire." For the first time in my life, I traveled beyond the forgotten edges of space. The royal fleet escorted us through shimmering hyperspace lanes. After 2 days, we arrived. And I finally saw it. The capital world of the Andromedan Empire. Massive floating cities surrounded the planet like halos of light. Golden towers pierced the atmosphere. Entire orbital rings rotated slowly around the planet. It was the most breathtaking sight I had ever seen. Ceres noticed my reaction. "Impressive, isn't it?" I nodded slowly. "You live here?" Liara smiled. "This is home." Inside the royal palace. The palace itself was even more unbelievable. Crystal halls stretched for kilometers. Alien diplomats from dozens of species walked through the grand corridors. Royal guards bowed respectfully as the sisters passed. Everyone knew them. Everyone respected them. But what surprised me most was that they treated me like an honored guest. Servants brought food. Royal officers saluted. It felt surreal. Finally, we reached the throne chamber. Liara turned to me. "This is why we brought you." The massive doors opened. Inside, the royal council waited. At the center stood the Empress of the Andromedan Empire, their mother. She looked at me carefully. "So, this is the human who saved my daughters." I bowed awkwardly. "Just helped with some repairs, Your Majesty." Ceres laughed softly. "That's what he calls it." Liara stepped forward. "He risked his life to help us escape." The Empress studied me for a long moment. Then she smiled. "You are a rare kind of human." She raised her hand. "And today we repay our debt." The true reason I was called back. A holographic map of the galaxy appeared. Several unstable regions flashed red. "The Empire faces new threats," the Empress explained. "Pirates, rogue factions, unknown anomalies." Liara turned toward me. "We need people who think differently." Ceres added with a grin. "People who help strangers without asking questions." The Empress nodded. "I am offering you a position." My heart skipped. "What kind of position?" Liara answered. "Royal Advisor for Frontier Engineering and Exploration." Saris winked. You'll basically help us solve problems across the galaxy. I stared at them in shock. You're serious? Liara stepped closer. You saved our lives. Saris smiled warmly. And now we want you beside us. The Empress extended her hand. So, human engineer, will you answer the palace's call? Ending a new life among the stars. 3 years earlier, I had been a forgotten engineer on a dying station. Now, I stood in the heart of the most powerful empire in the galaxy, next to 2 alien princesses who trusted me with their future. I thought about the quiet life I had left behind. Then I looked at the endless galaxy displayed in the holographic map. Adventure, discovery, possibility. I took a deep breath and accepted the Empress's hand. I'll help. Saris cheered instantly. I knew it. Liara smiled with quiet relief. Welcome to the palace. As the council chamber filled with applause, I realized something incredible. Helping 2 strangers in a docking bay had changed my destiny, and this time, the journey was only just beginning.